I used to be a purist, where it's like, it's either vintage or nothing, or vintage, not secondhand, but here it's really important to embrace vintage and secondhand, because at the end of the day, one article of clothing that we're taking and putting back into circulation and that is not in the landfills is a win for everybody. Hi, my name's Jodee, and I have a little obsession with old things that I like to disguise as a small business called Glorious DS. You can find us online, or you can visit us right here at Hub Make Lab in Escolta or at Common Room in Power Plant Mall. And today we're going to Quiapo along a little street market where it isn't really known for vintage mismo, but there are a lot of amazing secondhand items at incredible prices. So let's go there and check out the goods and see if we can find any vintage items mismo. I think my appreciation for vintage and just old things in general is definitely a hand-me-down from my mother. It's something I definitely grew up around. I mean, she loved thrifting, she loved finding unique items, she loved collecting things. And I mean, when she would shop and when it came to fashion, she balanced two B's, budget and bongaciousness. So before you get out there, I guess a couple tips. Dress comfy. You want to have kind of both arms free to be able to like search or like push anyone out of the way. 2, know your measurements, even if it's approximate. There might be pieces that are a little more tailored that you can't necessarily try on, and not every ukay has a fitting room. So it's good to have that down. And 3, set some rules for yourself, even if it's just one rule. Kahit isa. For me, time. And I don't think that's a rule, I think that's just reality kasi wala akong time. I usually give myself an hour max. No, that's a lie. An hour, 2 hours max. That helps control me or my brain because I could literally get lost in the process. So while you're going down this alley, you're gonna wanna bounce back and forth. It's really tempting to like jump. Just focus on one side muna and then we'll ikot and go around the other way. So there's like 2 types of vintage shoppers or thrifters. So this is this technique where you push everything to one side and you rifle through each one. I don't like doing that. It's too tiring. So I just gotta look, stand back, and start picking at the things that catch my eye. For me, I think the main 3 are time, budget, and BYOB, bring your own bag. For me, as I mentioned, time is a factor for me that limits me wandering or exploring too far and too much or getting lost. 2, a budget always. So set a limit, make sure you have barya, leave the ATM at home if you know yourself for being impulsive. And then as far as BYOB, bringing one bag or as many bags as you want, but bringing your own bags will also help you determine how much physically you'll see like, okay, this is enough, this is the limit, enough's enough. We have to practice mindfulness. Otherwise, we get kind of sucked into that culture of impulse buying or overconsumption or like hauling for the gram. This morning, sparkly things are catching my eye, but yes, again, likely not vintage. Shorts, okay, shorts, 50 pesos. Yun. Okay, this is for sure a vintage piece. Classic 80s, 70s running shorts. You can tell by the piping. It's obviously got some foxing and some stains that might not come out. Since we're just starting at the beginning, we'll leave it up to fate. If it's still here when we come back, then it's meant to be. I wouldn't say there are any rules mismo that you need to follow, but there are some guiding things and signs within a garment that will tell you whether or not it's vintage. Usually the label, for one, the material, the style, the cut, and it's really, for the most part, a feeling. Like sometimes when you see things online and it's described as vintage, sometimes if you don't see the close-ups of like the things you're looking for, like labels, buttons, it's really hard to tell. So for me, especially being out there and touching things, your fingers mismo are gonna tell you if it's vintage. See some dresses. Of course, I gravitate to this sparkly number. Sequin, beaded, silk, Beef Basics for David York. 100% silk, made in China. Likely 1990s Y2K. This is really nice. It's nice to get here early in the morning. They're still putting out a lot of stock. Okay, so we got some nice sleeveless blouses here. I'm looking for patterns, material. Yun. It's a Tommy Hilfiger knockoff, but as far as the logo goes, Hero liners, made in Bangladesh. Large cotton, beautiful. Likely 90s Y2K. I don't know if that stain will come out. This is nice. Oh, no, that's too new. Just this one piece out of this whole rack. Clothing recently made is just not the same quality. So if something has lasted more than 20 years and you find it now, it's likely going to last you another 20 years versus the piece that you bought last season. Liz Sport. So I really like this color combo. Liz Sport, 100% cotton. Lovely, really great condition. Checking all the buttons. Oh, sayang, may safety pin. But it's not sayang, we can repair that. It's just a button. This is probably a yes since we are looking at 100 pesos each. Another one, likely 1980s, businesswoman chic. Again, I guess I'm gravitating towards shiny things in this kind of color palette this morning. Again, another like embroidered old OG label. Flip it inside out for the embroidered details. I can't assure that this is vintage, but it's just absolutely beautiful. Looks like the top for an Indian sari. Look for things like missing buttons, a hole, not a big deal. A small tear here and there. Ask yourself, can it be repaired? Can it be mended? Can you fix a zipper? Mga ganon. Always florals. Florals always get me. And look at this. This is an Orvis. Made in the USA. 100% cotton. Amazing, not bad. Oh, another one. There seems to be a color story that I'm going for or am attracted to at the particular moment. Ooh, I see some nice things over there. Very tempting to go there right now, but my rule for myself, to keep myself focused, stay on one side muna. Literally without having to like sift through everything, there's a lot of stuff that's jumping out at me right now. Let's just pick them based on what they look like. And see if any of them happen to me. This is a beautiful silk blouse. Look at these buttons. This one, can't quite tell. This label looks still new. Oop, and there's this Hawaii tee. Look at how amazingly boxy it is. And that glorious faded label. Can't quite tell. Okay, so 3 of the 4 are here. Only 3 of them waited for me. So here I am with my new babies that we found in Quiapo. We found about 5 items out of, we spent about half an hour. 5 items, 5 vintage items. Not bad at all, I don't think. This caught my eye. This was one of our first purchases. It was like a boxy Hawaiian shirt, the faded label with palm trees. Can't quite make it out. It's weather appropriate. I love the colors and the cut. Super comfy, perfect for bike rides, along with this cotton polo, again, by Liz Sport, 100% cotton. It's missing one button, but we can forgive that because obviously we can replace a button. But again, I love the cut, really comfortable. I don't know why I kept gravitating towards these colors, but it just spoke to me this morning. Another boxy blouse with an embroidered tag right here. This would tell me it's about early 90s, late 80s. Now this I believe is the top of an Indian garment. I can't guarantee that this is vintage mismo, but the fact that the handmade elements, the fact that it was touched by, like, you know that hands made this, the embroidery is just, it's beautiful. And the color combo, I really appreciate it. Sadly, it won't fit me, but that's okay. And then of course, this is one of those meant to be pieces. Classic 80s running shorts, zip pockets, another embroidered label here. Now we do have some foxing throughout. We might try to get those out a little later, gently, but sometimes those don't come out. It's natural. It happens to garments and books as they age. Since none of these are necessarily, I don't think I'd rework any of them. They are still in good condition. I wouldn't want to chop them up, but I do think they would probably go to our kilo sale where we sell items by the kilogram. I think our customers would appreciate some of these. These pieces deserve good homes. They're beautiful. And hopefully, this is a bit of a challenge, but hopefully we can get the stains out of this too. These are a great pair of shorts. I think the importance of thrifting or ukay or just appreciating secondhand garments or items is the fact that to be able to see potential or value in something that already exists. We live in a world right now where there's a lot of excess, a lot of fast fashion being faster than ever. The thing is, there's also trends and cycles within vintage. What goes around comes back around, and these things are timeless. These things can be appreciated by many generations. If you're a fan of ukay, hopefully there were some insights that maybe can help you on your next trip. And if you weren't a fan of ukay, perhaps this is something that might interest you exploring further. No matter what, you just don't know what you're going to find each time.